Hey everybody, I'm not normally one to regurgitate news that's already out, but in this particular instance I think it's very important that everyone does everything they can to get the word out. Everyone I'm sure is familiar with CISPA, which is the next attempt to try to crack down on the internet and our freedom. This one in particular, and the reason I'm putting this out here, is because if there's anything that's important, it's that we all maintain the ability to communicate with each other freely on the internet. As a lot of you know, our consciousness has grown so much because of our ability to be able to communicate with each other. You can obviously see the advantages, for example, of being able to watch a video rather than watching TV and be interactive and communicate with other people and talk about that video. The problem with TV and news is that it's one way and there's no one to talk about the news with unless you want to remember what they said and go to work and talk about it. But the internet is great because you can really see the public opinion, you can see what people think. And a lot of people are expanding their consciousness because they're seeing other ideas that they may not have seen before from other people. If this passes, the potential to take away all of that freedom is there. You know, folks, sometimes the truth hurts. And just like the voting system, your vote does not count. So it's not a matter of whether this is going to pass or not, because it's out of our control. Everything is out of our control. The whole voting system and everything like this is all an illusion. It's there to make you think that you have a choice and you really don't. And if you can't see that now, I don't care if you are a conservative or if you are a liberal. All of these things we saw, all of these things we warned about, I said there was going to be voter fraud all the way through this thing, and there was. They totally snubbed out Ron Paul, and I told you as soon as the banks made all of their contributions and Romney was ahead of everybody, I told you that that was going to be the candidate, and guess what? Probably about a 95% chance he'll be the candidate. Did you know that Obama is expected to spend about $1 billion on his campaign this year? And then we got Romney on the other side. I think it should be pretty obvious that this is not about we the people. It's about the money. So what I figured out basically is that this is the same type of thing. We can't control what they're going to do. They're going to pass it, I guarantee you. They're going to try to pass it because the corporations like it this time, and that's all they really needed to satisfy. Nobody cares about us. All they care about are the corporations. That's a fact. So what can we do since we can't control that? Well, what you can do is you can pay attention to the details and you can look for the corruption and expose it. And this is the same type of thing. So the only power that you have is not through voting, because voting is an illusion. If you really want to take the power back, you're going to have to actively stand up and actively pay attention to what's going on behind the scenes and expose the corruption when it shows itself. It's really important that in this particular case that you supervise. In other words, pay attention to the details all the way up until the time that it's voted for. Look for things, look for corruption, whatever. Because if we sleep on this deal and this passes, you say goodbye to freedom and it's back to Obama tube. Let me play you a quick clip.
Welcome back to the program, Dave. Now, to be fair, there are countless scary-sounding bills that frequently float around Congress that hardly stand a chance of becoming law. Why should we care about this one?
Well, for one reason, you should care because it stands a very good chance of becoming law. It has more than 100 co-sponsors in Congress, and unlike SOPA, which had huge online outrage from the public and tech companies alike, this one actually has the support of key tech companies. With SOPA, which failed, there was a petition that was linked from the homepage of Google, and major web properties, including Reddit and Wikipedia, went dark to protest it. They're probably not going to do that this time around. CISPA is a very real threat, and at this point, it very well could become law.
If this becomes law, you're going to have to ask yourself, how many times are we going to allow this kind of stuff to happen before they hit the right line and we say, no, I'm not going to comply. We should have done that with NDAA. We should have done this a lot, but we haven't. I can tell you this, folks. They're little by little whittling our rights away. You don't have to be a conservative or a liberal or a member of any party to realize that this isn't a conspiracy, it's a fact. And you've seen it. They've whittled our rights away a little bit by little bit. And I said, as soon as the FCC came on board, and you know how they promised not to do anything about the internet, and now everybody's all over the internet. It's all lies, okay? At what point do you say, no, I'm not going to comply? That's basically what my question is. And I say that if this were to pass, I would say I wouldn't comply with it. You know? I would find ways not to comply with this. At some point, you have to stand up to the tyranny and say, I'm not going to comply anymore. There's no reason for this at all, except for the fact that they don't want us talking with each other. Because our consciousness is expanding, we're waking up, and they know it. And if you can't see this, you're totally blind. So it doesn't matter whether you're a conservative, whether you're a liberal. And I would also, go out and check. Does Fox News, are they talking about CISPA? I don't watch Fox News that much, but I'm curious. Because they typically don't talk about things like this. Now, you can expect that if this CISPA gets signed into law, it'll probably happen at a time where we're all busy, or it's a weekend or something like that. So pay attention to the details. Look for corruption. This one is extremely important. I cannot stress how important this actually is. This is a big deal, folks. If they take this away, it's basically like putting a bullet through our collective awakening consciousness. So enough of my rant. The purpose here basically is to ensure the word gets out about this. There's still some people that do not know about it, thanks to the lamestream media. I'm sure Fox News isn't talking about it any more than they talked about NDAA, because I know some of my family members watch Fox News, and they didn't know anything about NDAA when it was going on. So the bottom line is here, folks, is we cannot depend on the system anymore. Part of the system is voting. And what I personally believe is that it's all an illusion. The only way that we can actually take our power back is to actively be involved, and you can do it many ways. One way is just to pay attention to the details, look at the stuff on the internet, expose the corruption where you see it. Just like I exposed the corruption from that company Seidel a while back, who is in Spain, after watching it on Alex Jones. So y'all take this, create your own videos, spread the news, get this information out. This is imperative that everybody understand what's going on here. All right? Y'all take care, and I'll talk to you soon.